Merry Christmas. The tradition of celebrating Christmas existed long before the birth of Jesus Christ. Despite our commonly held belief in his birth date, Christmas or other similar festivities took place in Rome, where people observe Saturnalia to pay tribute to the god Saturn, or the god of agriculture. Simultaneously, the upper class marked the birth of the sun god Mithra on December 25th. Broadly speaking, these celebrations were closely tied to the changing seasons, particularly the European winter or snow season. During this time, citizens prayed and hoped for the arrival of spring in January. As a result, people celebrated the end of winter and the welcoming of the spring at the end of December. As for the birth of Jesus, Christmas celebrations dedicated to his birthday only appeared in the 4th century of Christianity. It is said that during that time, Pope Julius I selected the date because it aligned with the winter solstice festival. Since then, Christmas has been an annual event celebrated on December 25th. The festive activities surrounding Christmas are connected to the concept of the day filled with joy and the sharing of happiness. Similar to how people in history celebrated the arrival of spring, Christmas serves as a moment for individuals to express gratitude and find joy in their lives. Christians get to experience Christmas with family, where they express thankfulness for sustenance, appreciate good health, and revel in happiness. It is no wonder Christmas becomes a joyful and peaceful occasion for its followers. Christians celebrate this day with family gatherings. Some participate in communal cooking, host festive events, exchange gifts, sing songs, contribute to charitable causes, and decorate their homes. But what is the essence and significance of it all? How does it relate to the birth of Jesus Christ? And what do we have to learn from this day, this celebration? We will straight away go to another scenario where a devotee whose father has been visiting Christmas from 70s to Prashanti Nilayam. He recounts about his experience and his father's experience of Christmas in Prashanti Nilayam. He writes, from 1980 onwards, many of my Christmases were celebrated in the divine presence of Swami in Prashanti Nilayam. That was when I learned how Christmas should be celebrated, away from the commercial buzz, feasts and parties that are standard in America. He's an American. Instead, in Prashanti Nilayam, especially in those early years, Christmas was a simple celebration that was deeply spiritual with the least pomp and show. Adding a line to this, he says in those years, it still continues to be the same. The crowd definitely has increased over a period. He's talking about 70s, 80s, to 40 years before, 45 years before. Of course, the crowd has increased. Of course, the decorations might have increased, but the spirit, this deep spiritual significance of Christmas in Prashanti Nilayam goes as it would have been in 70s. Have witnessed 3-4 Christmas celebrations there. Can vouch for this spiritual significance and the spiritual flavor and spirit. In Prashanti Nilayam, when people from so many countries come, practice their songs for months, for days together, and then render those songs. Not only English Western songs, but even bhajans at the feet of their chosen Lord. Coming back to his writing, all the foreigners would get together for satsang and practice singing carols, which would be sung in Swami's presence on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. On Christmas Day, we would have the morning Nagar Sankirtan, marching around the mandir, singing Christmas carols with lighted candles, ending in front of Swami's residence. He would come to the balcony with silver gate. He would come to the balcony in his white robe with a bright glow all around him. Have seen that scenery. Here, tears of devotion and gratitude would well up in our eyes and our hearts and tongues. And our tongues sang Silent Night. O come all ye faithful, O Holy Night, and other popular and immortal carols. It used to feel like spending Christmas in the presence of the Heavenly Father. Here are some incidents that illustrate his omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. The devotee writes, what does Swami see in our offerings? Volunteers with artistic talents would lovingly make many greeting cards and offer them to Swami during Christmas. One year, one of the cards, shaped like a Christmas tree, looked very ordinary. And my father felt it should be put aside and not offered. But at the last minute, he discovered that there was no card for the children's drama group to present their program to Swami. Thus, the rejected card was finally selected. When Swami received the card together with the drama outline, he held it in his hand for the whole length of the drama. It became clear to us that Swami was seeing the devotion and dedication of the artist beyond her artistic abilities. After the evening program, the lady who made the card was waiting outside the men's exit, and she asked my father if Swami has seen her card. He replied, seen it. Seen it? He held in his hand during the entire program, which rarely happens. During one Christmas, though, for those who have had this scenario, the younger lots would not have witnessed this. A flower and a card and well decorated, detailed the sequence of the program that is offered to Swami. Swami goes through the program and then takes the flower, keeps it aside, and then gives Pada Namaskar to those one or two children or one or two devotees, and then the program starts. This is the way. True for students, this is same for students, same for devotees. One more incident the devotee recounts. During one Christmas, the children were all seated in Sai Kulwant Hall, waiting to present their drama. Unexpectedly, due to medical emergency of a devotee, Swami had to leave for the hospital. When the car came for him to get in, Swami motioned to one of the children. The next instant, his car was surrounded by all children. With great delight, Swami blessed each of the children with a packet of vibhuti from his divine hand. When he returned from the hospital, the children happily presented their drama. We will take a break from the devotees' experience. We will now go through some of the significant revelations about Jesus, about Christmas, about various things related to Jesus as revealed by Swami. Swami writes on Jesus' mission. Jesus was a Karana Janma, a master born with a purpose. The mission of restoring love, charity and compassion. He had no attachment to the self, not paid any heed to joy or sorrow, loss or gain. He had a heart that responded to the call of the anguish. He went about the land preaching the lesson of love. His life was a libation for the uplift of humanity. Volume 10, SSS. Then he writes, inner meaning of Jesus' teaching given at the Last Supper. Jesus said that the bread taken in the Last Supper was his flesh and the wine his blood. What did he mean? Swami says, he meant that all beings alive with flesh and blood are to be treated as he himself, and that no distinction should be made between friend or foe, we or they. Everybody sustained by the bread, every drop flowing in the veins of every living being is his only, him only, God, animated by the activity that the wine was imparted to it. That is to say, every man is divine and has to be revered as such. Again, SSS volume 10. Discourse given on 25th December 78. Then Swami writes about crucifixion of Jesus. What does it signify? They tempted one of his 12 disciples with 30 silver pieces to betray him into their hands. The Roman rulers were told that Jesus attempted to assert himself as king and so could be punished for treason, being a traitor. Their insistence made the governor order his crucifixion. When the nails were being driven into him to fix him on the cross, Jesus had the voice of Father saying, all life is one. My dear son, be alive to everyone. And he pleaded that those who were crucifying him be pardoned, for they know not what they did. Jesus sacrificed himself for the sake of mankind. Volume 10, Triple S. Again, same discourse, 25th December 78. Sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Swami writes, says, people talk of Jesus, very significant revelation by Swami. People talk of Christ's sacrifice as evidenced by his crucifixion. Because crucifixion, getting crucified, it shows the sacrifice or the hardship at a very gross level. But Swami has to reveal something beyond that. Swami says, he was surrounded and bound and crowned by the crowd who captured him with the crown of thorns and later nailed to the cross by his captors. A person bound and beaten by the police cannot say that he has sacrificed everything, for he is not a free man. Let us pay attention to the sacrifices Jesus made while he was free, not when he was being nailed. Even while he was free, Swami says, out of his own volition, when he was free, he willingly sacrificed his happiness, prosperity, comfort, safety, and possession. He braved the enmity of the powerful. He refused to yield or compromise. He renounced his ego, which is the toughest thing to get rid of. These are all the sacrifices which you have to take as lesson from Jesus' life. Honor him for this. He willingly sacrificed the desires with which the body torments a man. This sacrifice is greater than the sacrifice of the body under duress. The celebration of his birthday has to be marked by sacrificing your at least one desire or two and conquering at least the more disastrous urges of ego. SSS Volume 8, 72 Christmas Discourse. So what is Swami conveying actually? Beautiful revelation. When we are actually tortured by some external source, the world does not know whether we are accepting the torture wholeheartedly, smilingly, and let it happen to us. Whereas, when we are leading a normal life, when we have access to all luxuries, all objects, all relationships, at that time, when if we are able to sacrifice them, all these things for a higher sake, higher purpose, to evolve to a higher level, sacrifice the desire of the tongue, desire of the mind, heart, desire of the body, and then evolve to a higher level, to merge with God, to attain realization. Swami says that is the biggest sacrifice, which may be so subtle that the world may not notice it, and you are not bothered whether the world notices it or not. This is the highest sacrifice which nobody may know. If you are beaten, if you are tortured, if you are purposely being deprived of something basic needs by someone, you may be crying heart of heart. It is not a sacrifice. Accepting something with pain is not a sacrifice. accepting something wholeheartedly for your spiritual evolvement. That is the real sacrifice, Swami says. What a revelation today. The inner meaning of making the sign of the cross with hands. You should not be afraid of difficulties. They are passing clouds. Do not waver. Follow the heart, which is steady and unwavering. Unity of head, heart, and hand is essential for man. This is the true significance behind the Christians making the cross sign by hand. Here, the author writes, Swami made a sign of Holy Cross to show how it covers heart, hand, and head. You have to use your head, you have to use your hand, and you have to use your heart to make that cross with hand. Install God in your heart. Contemplate on Him and undertake good deeds. Consider every activity as God's work and act accordingly. SSS Volume 1. The Christmas tree. There is a custom of putting up the Christmas tree, on this day. The genesis, Swami is saying, the genesis of this custom can be traced to Germany. A preacher by name Jensen from England once visited Germany. When he was traveling in Germany on his mission, he noticed some Germans attempting to offer a child's life as a sacrifice to propitiate God, who they believed lived in an oak tree. The priest was warned and questioned, and he got warned, and then he questioned them as to why they were offering an innocent child as a sacrifice to a tree. As they asserted that God lived in a tree, he took an axe and cut the tree. To his surprise, he was shaken by the inexplicable vibration from head to foot. He noticed the form of a child between the two portions of the tree that was cut by him. The incident teaches the truth that God lives not only in human beings but also in plants and trees. From that time onwards, people started putting up a tree, a Christmas tree. SSS Volume 1. Only Lord can reveal these things to us, because as an eternal witness, Parabrahman, he would have been there when this incident happened. How many centuries before? 2 lessons on this. Sakala chara achara he Bhagavan. Dhanya ho Ishwaramba. We sing na. He exists, he is existing, Sarvavyapi. He exists in living and non-living beings in this entire creation. So, the lesson is to feel Him, to experience His divine presence everywhere, wherever we are, whatever we see, whatever we experience. And as though the sign for the villagers, the lesson for the villagers, as well as lesson for those who are offering a living being dead. Okay, like whatever, like a hen, like a sheep, like whatever. lamb, whatever. When Jesus has revealed that God exists in all living and non-living beings, and to signify that I am putting up a tree, a non-living object, on every Christmas day to signify that God exists in that tree, in that non-living object also. Then, as though the villagers should realize, and all of them who are resorting to non-vegetarian, they must realize that if God is existing in a tree, why would God not exist in those things which are being cut when they lived and even after they had died? Then can I even think of consuming that? A lesson to be thought in depth. Purpose of Christmas celebration. Swami says, this day is a holy day, the day on which Jesus was born. He announced himself as messenger of God. In fact, all humans are born as messengers of God. The sole purpose of human career is to propagate the omnipresence of God, His might and His glory. No one has incarnated for merely consuming quantities of food and catering to one's senses. Human life is more precious than that. That is why the capacity to appreciate beauty, truth and goodness, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, has been endowed only on man. SSS Volume 10. Discourse 1976, Christmas Day. Christmas belongs to all. Jesus was a noble soul. He declared that he was the Son of God. Okay, we will go to the other last part where this has been dealt in greater detail. We will, okay, let it be a repetition. We will go through Swami's lines and then go to the devotee's lessons which the devotee has learnt. So, Swami is saying, when Jesus was born, 3 royal wise men from the east were guided by a star to a cowshed in Bethlehem, where the baby Jesus lay in a manger. He was radiating divine effulgence. The first of them said, the child will love God. The second said, he will be loved by God. The third said, he will love one and all. He is not different from God. For those who have attended the Love is God session, are these 3 declarations exactly not the sequence of the love of God? How things coincide. This is why it is said Ekam Sat. Truth is one. First, what he did, the child will love God. That is what we dealt in love for God. The second said he will be loved by God. This is exactly what we dealt in love of God towards the devotee. The third said he is not different from God. That is what we dealt in Love is God, concluded by the Meera's emergence in Krishna at Ranchur temple. The one who loves God is the messenger of God. The one whom God loves is the Son of God. The one who understands the principle of unity becomes one with God. This is the inner statement, meaning of the statements given in the Bible. The one you think you are, the one others think you are, and the one who really are. You really are. God is not moved by, Swami goes on, sweet words. You must translate those sweet words into action. You may be a great hero in giving lectures on a platform, but if you are a zero in putting them into action, it will be of no use. You must become heroes in practical life. That is what gives me happiness, gives Sai happiness. How could Jesus or Muhammad acquire such greatness and goodness? It was only by their good deeds. Therefore, you must acquire goodness along with greatness. Okay, which one? Kathopanishad. Shreyas and Preyas. Greatness and goodness. It was only by their good deeds. Therefore, okay. In fact, goodness is greater than greatness. Shreyas is greater than Preyas. Several great souls took birth in the land of Bharat. Saint Tyagaraja, in one of his famous kirtans, sang Endaro Mahanubhavulu, Andariki Vandanabulu. There are several great souls. I prostrate before all of them. A great Saint Tyagaraja himself exhibited such humility. Whosoever has acquired the quality of love will never be hated by others. Even the wild animals will not harm you when you have love. The great rishis of yore spent their lives peacefully in dense forest amidst wild animals. The wild animals fought among themselves, but they did not cause any harm to these rishis. What is the reason? The rishis possessed one single weapon of love, which protected them from these wild animals. Swami says, consider my own example. I have only one weapon, that is love. Because of this, millions of people from every nook and corner of the globe gather around me. Did I ever send any invitation to you? No. It is only my pure and unsullied love that draws you are here. Obviously, this statement he would have given when too much of crowd started coming. So the discourse dates moves later from 70s. This is from the discourse delivered on Christmas Day 2002. In the Himalayan Masters, Swami Rama has also counted Himalayan Master and some other writing. He has, that picture is available. It's very thin, bare body Swami Rama meditating in a cave and a lion sitting besides him. It was not his friend. Okay, the lion came, sat before the master and was looking at the master meditating. That scene flashes when he goes through these Swami's lines. Now to the devotees sharing, last part, which is the most significant take-home part for today. He has titled this as the constant evolution. The experiences during Christmas are gifts from Sai with the sole objective of our spiritual transformation and growth. He has also beautifully explained this process of evolution from the life of Jesus himself. During the discourse delivered on December 25, 1982, Swami explained the journey of Jesus undertook into oneness with the divine essence of Christhood. First, Jesus announced himself as being a messenger of God, where he identified the body as being given to him as an instrument for serving humanity. Or as Swami mentioned, he denied the demand of the flesh and devoted his skills and strength to relieve agony and pain. Then Jesus' consciousness rose to the level of the mind, and when he declared, "I am the Son of God," Swami continues explaining that on the last part of Jesus' journey, he strove hard to discover the distinction between the appearance and the reality. Appearance, Jagat Mithya; reality, Brahma Satyam. Between the truth and mental image, and he became aware of the highest level of consciousness which transcends the vagaries of the mind. From that peak of intelligence, he became aware that I and my Father are one. I am the messenger of God, body level. I am the Son of God, mind level. And after transcending everything, I and my Father are one. The merger of individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. Atman with Brahman. In the same discourse, Swami said, Jesus was a messenger of God. But note this also. He leaves you with this, Swami's lines. You are all messengers of God. Jesus was not the only Son of God. You are all his children. Jesus and his Father are one. You and God are also one, and you should be aware of it. Is Swami not teaching us the highest essence of Upanishad? Highest essence of Vedanta? Not only that Jesus and his Father are one, till our end, as Sai devotees, when we celebrate each Christmas year, we sing carol, we celebrate, and Santa Claus comes and showers the gifts, and we are in joy temporarily. But we should take home this Swami's message. The three stages, three phases: body, mind, and highest intellect. I am the messenger of God, Jesus said. Swami says, you are all messengers of God. I am the Son of God, Jesus said. Swami says, you are all my children. Ultimately, Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Swami says, you and I are one. There is no difference. Realize this, that Sai and you are one. Aham Brahmasmi, or Hari Om Tat Sat. God incarnate or a realized master, when they start teaching, whatever subject they pick up, the subject was Swami dealt us on Jesus. but he drives home the essence. All masters, all God incarnate, they will have this essence to teach to their devotees or their children. Whatever may be, it may be a talk on the Shivananda Lahari, it may be a talk on the lover's God, it may be a talk on the Kanakadara Stotram, it may be a talk on Viveka Chudamani or Upanishads, whatever. And Swami talked about Jesus and where he ends. The three statements given by Jesus, he wants all of us to relate ourselves to that. I am the messenger of God at physical level. And at the mind level, I am the son of God. And at the Atmic level, I and he are one. Like Hanuman said, tells to Vibhishana, he's not repeating, you should be clear by now. At physical level, I will ever remain the Dasa of Rama. At the mental level, I see myself as a small ansh, a small part of Rama. And at the ultimate Atmic level, me and my Rama are one. Exactly the same thing is repeated here. And what would have been the time difference between when Hanuman existed in the Treta Yuga and Jesus came? But the Ekam Sat, the truth revealed, is exactly the same. That is the beauty. This is a powerful message that Swami gives. This is the evolutionary path which we need to follow from the body physical level to the mental level to the intellectual level to beyond the BMI. Existing as Swami Chinmayananda's diagram, crossing the vasanas, existing as Om. And then erasing the diagram, going beyond Om, going beyond the awareness of awareness, going beyond the light that I am, the light that Brahman is, and existing as that maybe light, maybe Brahman or Atman, but without being aware of all those nomenclatures, terminologies, all these expressions, where one settles in great silence, Mahamauna. Merry Christmas to all of you. May Lord Jesus help us in evolving as He evolved Himself, and may He bless us to reach the state of our saying in this birth or in the destined birth on the destined day, me and Sai are one. Even after that, it doesn't stop us from shedding tears, praying to Bhagavan. But that realization is the only goal of our human life. Whether we realize it now or 10 births from now or 100 births from now, it's up to us how much we want to delay. This is the purpose of our birth, to realize that I and my Father are one, I and Sai are one. I and Brahman are one. The one consciousness, Dridrisha Viveka, the one consciousness which is the eternal seer and which is not seen for any other seer. Merry Christmas.